So we did launch progressive aligners. It's been, what, a month now?
Yes.
Can you tell us about what role does that piece play in the overall vision of this digital workflow? And tell us about the company that you partnered with, and I guess how's it been received? How's it going as we've launched this product?
So part of having an entire workflow that works for the part-time general dentist is you have to use the best products out there. If you have a product that's weak and everyone has to work around it, that takes a lot more skill, a lot more time. So we went out there and we worked with, when we first started doing aligners, many years ago, we worked with every company out there. And we saw what the good and the bad of each one it was and where the struggles of our clients were. And what we realized is that without controlling the process, without putting our protocols in, without working directly with the company, our clients were struggling. Mm-hmm. So we went out and we partnered with the very best company out there that we'd worked with for many years. We knew what we were getting, and it is the best and highest quality product out there. And because of that, we are now working directly with them to make the product work for our clients. And what is typical in a GP practice that's doing, 10 to 20 cases a year instead of 200 to 300 cases a year that an orthodontist would be doing. And there's unique struggles that those general dentists have that this product's been designed to fix. And so you're getting the best product on the market, designed in a way that works for our clients with education and an entire system being around it, which allows us to create this entire digital workflow. Because as I mentioned before, when you go with a digital workflow and you're going through from, a simulation through completion, part of the process is you have to have a good appliance. And that's both in brackets and aligners. And so we have, with the IP system, we've had the best bracket system for 20 years. That's been proven. People love it. It works extremely well. Now with adding progressive aligners to it, we now have the best aligner system in the world. So it kind of completes the entire process and gives us a tool that's going to be consistently excellent on every case, that is predictable, so we can make sure that you are having the results that you want in your practice.
Awesome. I've been hearing some really good feedback from the doctors that have started using progressive aligners. What's been some of the things that you've heard from doctors, instructors, people who have tried progressive aligners?
Well, the beautiful part about it is almost everyone's had repeat business. Mm-hmm. So we've been out there for a month and they're coming back. Even after you get the first case, they're loving it. We've yet to have a bad experience from anyone. And what they're seeing right away is, from the initial part of it, the software is a wonderful software. It has every feature you need, super simple to use and all of that. But really where you see the biggest difference is with the designers. Mm-hmm. So when you put in your cases with the progressive designers, they've been working with you to create these protocols that work extremely well. You don't have to put in all the information. You don't have to guide them because they know orthodontics. And so they are the response back has been these beautiful designs where on 90% of the cases, it's approved immediately. And approved immediately with doctors that know what they're doing. Right. And so this is not just, we approve it because it's what you say. This is, hey, these guys actually know how to do these different advanced procedures, and they're putting these in right away, and I can approve right away. The shipping is coming quickly, where the manufacturing process is coming right away. It's getting to your office within 7 days. So the turnaround times are actually surprising a lot of our clients, where, they were expecting this to take a lot longer, planning their patients much later. And all of a sudden they have all the tools they need early, mm-hmm. which has been a shock. So there's going to be some adjustment period as everyone kind of gets used to how good this product is. Mm-hmm. But these are all great problems to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Just before we walked in here, I had a doctor send me back at his first case, and he's like, wow, this setup looks so good right at the beginning. And we've been used to, with another company, having to go back and forth so many times to get it looking good. So, yeah.
It really makes a difference. I mean, that initial design process can be such a time killer of yours. If you're, not only having to write these long amount of instructions, you send that off 3-4 days later, it comes back and everything's wrong. Mm-hmm. So then you got to fix everything again, write a whole nother set of instructions, send that off. You just burned a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a couple hours of your time just to get the setup right. And your patient's sitting there waiting to start, which has a huge risk of that patient changing his mind. Right. And all these other issues that can come up. And so part of the great part about having great designers is when you can turn this quickly, you can save yourself those hours of diagnosis, and also, get the case started faster so that your patient is in treatment and is happy. Mm-hmm. And that's really what we're seeing.
And everybody seems to love the look and feel of the box that it comes in, and the stuff they give their patient, and the way the aligners look and feel. It seems like it's been very successful so far.
It's been very successful. As I said, we chose this company very carefully. Mm-hmm. And we chose this company not off of what was promised, but off of what they had today. Right. And so I knew what we were getting, and I knew that it was going to be fantastic. And so I can legitimately stand up in front of everyone and say, this is the best product on the market. There is not a single product out there that's better than this one. And that is something that I like saying. And for a general dentist, that's incredibly important, because you want to be using the best product to make sure that your ortho patients are running smoothly, giving you time to focus in on your restoration patients and everything else that's going on in a busy GP practice.
Right. Yeah. So Don, your dad, our founder, he had retired, but he's played a really important role, not only in the development of this relationship with the manufacturer for the progressive aligners, but also in software in conjunction with Medit and some other pieces that are coming out. Can you talk to us about, like, how did Don get involved? What's been his role? What have you noticed as he's gone through this process of taking us to the next level?
So Don is an interesting person. I think many of you know him. He loves to learn, and he's been a lifetime learner. And so when we started moving to an aligner, system, and when aligners became more popular in the industry, and it would become something that we had to kind of take a look at and figure out, how can we make this work for our student? He wanted to learn all about it. So when David Dana, our previous head instructor, created this Aligner Plus series, first person sitting in the classroom was Don, and he was taking notes. And he realized this is something that he thought was fascinating, that had changed significantly since when he first looked at it in the early 90s, when all these companies were approaching him to have them help him. It's evolved a lot over time. And so he got excited, and he started working on, how do I become a master at aligners? And the first thing he did is he went out and found a mentor. And so he worked with a guy named Amit Fallah. He's a professor over at Harvard, an orthodontist. And he asked Amit, hey, will you mentor me as I work through all these different cases with my clients? Mm-hmm. And so him and Amit sat down and really started going through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cases, refining what they were looking at, working with every different system. And then not only working on the initial setups, but he was working with his clients to get cases back on a regular basis. And he is, incredible about analyzing every record that he gets. He's created overlays. He's looked at how every tooth moves so that he has a thorough understanding of what exactly is happening in the case, not just what you read about in a book or see some lecture. He's proving it to himself. And so over this period of time, even though he didn't have a dental practice, he was able to see thousands of aligner cases, diagnosis all the way through to completion with monthly records and all the other things that have become the POS standard, and then had the time, the energy, and the effort to overlay and study every tooth movement to see exactly what is happening. And as a result, he became very opinionated of, how aligners work, how aligners don't work, which companies are good, which companies, aren't good, concepts like key tooth and all these other concepts that he's created. And we've put those into this entire workflow. So then as we kind of developed this new, digital orthodontic workflow, he had a vision of, this is one, how the simulations would work in aligners, and knew how every tooth was supposed to move. And then two, here's the other supporting foundational products that we need, and which companies do we want to partner with to make this product work at the highest level. Mm-hmm. And, so we were able to, have the opportunity to work with almost any company we wanted to, and pick these companies extremely well to make this streamlined process for our clients that's really going to change the way that you do ortho and make it much more efficient, make it much better and more consistent so that you really enjoy the process.
Yeah, he's passionate. He's excited about it. In fact, I think he's mentioned to you something about how excited he is with phase 1 orthodontics and aligners, and seeing that aligners in some regards are better at doing things than brackets are. And even though he remains committed to the bracket guy he's always been, it seems like he's found some new excitement in this new tool.
Well, I think you have to understand, everyone calls him a bracket guy, and that's a bit of a of a misunderstanding. He's always looked at whatever the appliance is simply a tool.
Right.
I remember when he got into lingual orthodontics way back when in the late 80s, and he had more lingual orthodontic cases done than anyone else in the entire world, and became an expert at it. And then he stopped doing it completely because he didn't like it, because it was so inefficient, it was so challenging, it was so difficult that it wasn't the tool for him. So he's always looked for what is the best tool to achieve the result that I'm looking for with the patient. And whether that's brackets, aligners, a functional, whatever it is irrelevant to him. It all is just simply a tool to provide the best service to the patient and make it so that's a consistently good result that I can do predictably so I don't have surprises in the clinic. So one of the hesitations he had with aligners at the beginning was, while some could get this to work, not everyone could. Mm-hmm. And everything that we do is designed for everyone, where our, student that is the least skilled still has to be able to achieve the quality that the most skilled, user would use. And so that every client of ours is producing quality that we are proud of. Mm-hmm. And so with that in mind, until we kind of developed all of these systems in place and kind of allowed aligners to develop, we kind of stayed away from it because the predictability wasn't there. And for the GP world, you can't have bad cases. Right. A single bad case is a career-altering, situation, where if you have a bad case, most GPs will never do ortho again. And we take that very seriously. So while you could be successful with a lot of appliances, if there's a chance that it's not going to be successful, we refuse to use it. So with all the developments we've made, we can now look at the aligners and say, these work better in these circumstances. And so this is the tool to be used because you can do this predictably and you can achieve the results every time that you knew and designed before you started. And so that's really where, he is now a big proponent of aligners. He always tells me, in my practice, if I was practicing ortho, I'd probably have 40 to 50% of my cases would be aligners. And, he's going to evolve as we study more and research more and come up with more new tools and new ideas. But it's an exciting time.
Absolutely.
Because he's got a new tool to play with, new cases to look at, new things to study that make, at the end of the day, better treatment for our patients, which is what we're all interested in.